Hello and welcome to HFX Training's interview with Dr. Kimberly Reeve. Kimberly is a professor at Baruch and the King's College in New York City. We really hope you enjoy listening to her insights and experiences of our flagship simulation, the strategy game. Thank you for listening.
Sure, there are a few key areas where I've really seen business simulations be very effective. And first is that it just provides an incredible platform to really marry theory with practice. It's one thing for me to talk about things like you have to balance short-term goals with longer-term goals, meet those quarterly financial projections, but also invest in the future. And business simulation is a really effective way to do that. And the second big area for me is just getting people to interact as teams, knowing that for the rest of your life, you're going to have to interact with teams in some way. And this is a great way for them to get an experience of what that's actually like. Yeah, I've always enjoyed using simulations, and I have used them at the undergraduate, the MBA graduate level, as well as PhD, DBA level. So really broad variety of experience. One of my main frustrations is that quite a few of the existing platforms are just very difficult for students to understand. And I think the worst case scenario I came across is actually had a student come in with a doctor's note saying that the screen, when she pulled up the simulation, just the screen where you have to enter all of the variables, it was so convoluted and so much data that was actually on there that it was triggering her epileptic seizures. And so I thought, oh my goodness, there has to be a better solution. Like, we can't have a simulation that is triggering seizures in our students. So that is really what made me start searching out just a simulation that had a much better interface. One of the things I love about HFX's solution is just that home screen. You open it up and it's just so clean, so easy, but it's also very easy for us to build onto. So I always tell my students, like, do not be deceived by how easy it looks, because it's actually very challenging. But from the start, it doesn't put up any barriers to students feeling like they can't understand it. So that's what I really love about the solution, just the first screen, and then going on from there. It's just a very easy solution to implement. Like all professors, I have a lot of different things. I teach at a couple of different institutions. So I'm looking for a solution that doesn't take me a lot of time to learn or implement. And HFX has been really helpful with all of that. I just love that the platform really encourages students to dive into it and understand it. And there's kind of the face value, what they see on the screen, but then as an instructor, I can use all of the additional supplemental materials that come along with it. The other thing that I really love is how easy it is to customize. As an example, we have an opportunity to add certain news events, and I've been able to customize those for classes ranging from business ethics to marketing to a business in New York City course that I run. And that's been a great way to very easily make the course content, the simulation content, really relevant to the course that I'm teaching. HFX also has really great reports that are available to the instructors. And one of the things I specifically like about their reports, that it just charts everything out very clearly. And so I actually literally do screen grabs and can stick those into my PowerPoint slides as I'm teaching students about what is going well and what can be improved in each round of the simulation. And then at the end of the game, all the students have access to those charts. So that's really fun as well, because they can see there's one team that consistently did a lot better. They can then reflect and go back to see what that team did. Also, as a professor, it just gives me this great kind of at a glance. I can tell right away just by looking at those charts who's doing well and who might need a little bit of an intervention. And that helps me as I facilitate in the classroom. The first thing that I love about it is that the students themselves get to select the goals for their company. In other simulations, I, as an instructor, set it for everyone who's participating. And here they get to weight 4 different variables that they're looking at. And I found that it's really helpful. I teach a lot on social enterprise or concepts where profit may not be the primary motive. So it's really great that students have the opportunity to try to determine what kind of company they want and figure out the goals that they want for themselves. And from that, it really builds a lot of competition between the teams in a very healthy and positive way. And that's been a lot of fun too. It really encourages the teams to kind of outthink the other, and it really encourages some healthy competition. One of the frustrations I had with other simulations is that they come with a 120-page participant manual. And I knew I didn't have a prayer of getting any students to actually read through the manual. So I ended up, of course, every class time having to answer a lot of questions that students should really have known. And HFX has broken down what would typically be in a normal simulation manual into a bunch of short videos. And it's great because students can watch them on their phones, and they've made them animated. So it really captures the student's attention. And as an instructor, I have the capacity to determine what videos I want my students to watch. I can add a quiz in between the videos. So just from a learning perspective, students are engaging at a much higher rate with this simulation than they were with other simulations. The other thing I really like are just the supplementary materials. There are worksheets starting with what is your organizational chart. So it gets students thinking about, if we were running a business, what resources, what internal resources do we have as a team, and how are we going to divide that up? Who's going to be in charge of marketing versus finance? And then there are also things like thinking through your revenue, P&L. So again, those are great resources. I can assign them as homework. We can go over them in class, and I can really customize the course the way I want to using the resources that exist. First, one thing that I'm always looking for with a simulation is, what is the support going to be like? I know we've all been there, we're in the middle of a class and something goes wrong, and what do you do? And what I found is HFX is extremely responsive. And the other thing I like about HFX is that they have 2 pricing models. And the first time I implemented the course, I was actually asked to teach a course last minute over the summer, so I didn't have a lot of prep time. And I was able to get the enhanced version where HFX actually came in, worked directly with my students, helped me set up the course, and really got everything ready for me to go. So it didn't take a lot of my time. After that experience, I had a chance to be certified to teach the course on my own. So now I'm able to implement it more on my own through the standard package that exists. And even with that, I still get very responsive customer service anytime I run into any questions I have or any issues my students might be struggling with. So it's really been a great experience all around.
Thank you for listening to the interview with Dr. Reeve. If you have any questions about HFX and how we might be able to help you, please contact us today at info@hfxtraining.com.